I'm struggling to think of one, but it's like it's finding that star caliber talent who's in a bad situation. And I agree with you at a high level. They need both. They need to find another. They need to find their Kyrie, and they also need to find their like PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford type. So, but like one at a time, one at a
Derek
time.
Lively.
Right? Yeah, no,
Go
no. I
down
mean,
the
I mean,
line.
honestly give Dallas their credit. They got a second star for Luka. They drafted the correct player to play with those guys, and then they picked up two perfect glue guys at the deadline. That's 4 acquisitions right there. And I just want to remind everyone, Dallas won 38 games last year. So then they're going to the conference finals. The Warriors won 46. I'm not saying it's easy to get those 4 guys, but I don't like the defeatist attitude of they're done. They're done. I'm like, they still have Steph Curry. You figure your shit out and you go in. You can get it done.
So the chat, we're on Playback Live after the game tonight on Sunday night, and the chat is throwing out Zach LaVine. That's actually one we haven't talked about as much, and I think people have kind of a trigger warning. You got to throw one out there for Zach LaVine because he's getting paid $500 million in the next couple seasons. But I actually think that's the one maybe that's similar to Kyrie in that like maybe you get him and you build the role players around him, because the problem with Ingram is that I don't know if he can be a second option. I know that Zach LaVine is going to be a very, very good offensive second option.
Why do you say that? Like let's compare the two, because I think it's an
Ingram
interesting
versus LaVine.
Yeah, why do you think
offensively?
Why do you think LaVine slots in more comfortably with the way the Warriors play? Like we all know how the Warriors play. They're not gonna change the way they want to play. They're gonna want to move the ball. They're gonna want guys who make quick decisions. They're gonna want guys who can shoot the ball. That's underrated. One of the bigger issues they had. Why do you think LaVine fits in better?
So he's a way better shooter. He's a real shooter. Now I know the numbers say that Ingram's a very good shooter as well, but to me, I'm taking the gamble that a guy like that who's an actual pure scorer. Sound like bottom stop over here, man. You got me sounding crazy. But an actual pure scorer where he can shoot from 3. He's got the mid range. He's had games where he's had 40 plus points. He averages a ton of points. How realistic are they? I would take that though as a second option over someone like Ingram, where can he dribble? Can he actually shoot consistently from 3? Now, I think both guys, you're going to have question marks about them playing in the Warrior system. I'm just assuming that both guys have been in tough situations, that if they end up playing next to Steph and Draymond, that they're going to figure out how to play off ball. And I'm taking the guy where I'm saying, all right, LaVine. And this, I mean, with LaVine, you may have to just kind of not have Clay anymore. It's just, hey, he's giving me an easy 25 every night because of Steph. And then the defensive stuff, you say, you go and figure it out with some other people. But at least now you've got 2 guys, kind of like Luka and Kyrie, that you're getting 50 points. How often last year did we see? Like, I can't be comfortable saying that even with Ingram. I just think LaVine's better offensively. Oh my goodness, are you really?
I mean, it is like I think the Warriors have multiple things to address, but undoubtedly the biggest one is Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson no longer existing the way they did 2 years ago. I know I like Jordan more than you, but undoubtedly he was an important offensive piece. And Klay, longer term, has just always been kind of a second scoring option for this team. Neither of those guys are that guy. And we saw what it looked like with the Warriors this year. Like, it sucked to watch. It sucked to watch 3 dudes trap Steph, blah, 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 and them be unable to generate any offense in any capacity. So I think I'm going to agree with you. I think LaVine is a slightly cleaner fit for them. Mostly because if you look at it, he likes to shoot threes. Like, he just does. Over the last 5 years, guess how many threes he takes a game?
11, 10. Let's say 10.
7.5.
Okay.
Which is pretty high, to be fair. That's probably like closer to Dame than anyone.
Shooting 10 with the Warriors, though, believe that.
Yeah, I mean, he's had years where he shot close to it, but I'm saying 5-year sample.
Sure.
And what do you think he shot over 5 years? I'm talking 300 games, because he missed a lot of time this year, but we're talking like 35 minutes a game. So we're talking about like a lot of shots. Like
37-7, 37-7, because I'm sure he takes bad thries too.
38-7. That's a good guess. 39%.
Really high. Really high.
I mean, he also
real shooter.
Just to be clear, also averaged 25 points per game during that span. Shot 54% on twos. Gets to the line a little bit, probably not a lot, but like more than the Warriors do. You know, basically 25, 5 and 5 is what he is. He's not a great passer. He's more of a reactive passer. Defender, like he's not gonna be Andre Iguodala. You know, but if he's healthy, he's so much better than Jordan Poole was. And they were the 1 seed when Jordan Poole was starting next to Steph, just because having a dynamic scorer next to Steph, like, it opens everything up.
Yes.
So I think he's worth it because he just missed most of this year. Everyone knows him in Chicago are in a bad place mentally. They might be able to get him for pretty cheap.
Yeah, in terms of what they have to give up, but the contract, right, is the contract.
And that's the other part of it. His contract sucks. So it is kind of like Wiggins, where you are. Look, the Lakers are going to have to make this decision. You either give up picks or you take on money. You can't do both. You know, you're either willing to give a bunch of picks up to get a sure thing, or you gamble that you're going to fix a guy and you take on a bunch of money, but then you get to save your picks so you can go and draft a bunch of Smiley Geaches, you know?
Don't fucking do it.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, one or the other, right?
What's Lacob going to do? What's his history from the comments there, right? History says that Lacob's going to take on money. Now he's telling us that he's not this time around, but if he wants to put together a team that has a chance of winning, so to go back to where we started with this thing, you talked about the Warriors trying to figure out a way to go down the Mavs path, and I think that's probably your best option. It's just an asset that I think people know are good. I think people around the world in the basketball community, like, they know Zach LaVine's really freaking good. It's just that, like, dude, it's a matter of, do they want him? Do people actually want him, especially for that contract? With Kyrie's case, do they want him with the headache? But Kyrie didn't give him any headaches, not this year at least. And then they go fill out the rest of the roster, right? You fill out, you get another TJD. You go ahead and maybe Kuminga. Yeah, I assume Kuminga's not in that trade for LaVine, but like maybe he becomes like a way better big wing guy, right? Or you trade for a few that are just more veteran players. Like,
you don't have to empty. You don't have to empty the you don't have to put it all on the table. It's not poker where you're throwing it all out there. You know, LaVine's not